Electron mission from RocketLab Launch Complex 1 in New Zealand. We are on the pad with a dedicated launch for constellation operator Hawkeye 360 to deploy 4 satellites to low Earth orbit in just over 17 minutes' time. The local time right now is 5:10 a.m. with liftoff of our 67th Electron rocket scheduled to take place on the dot at 5:28 a.m. local time or 17:28 UTC. The time conversion for Eastern and Pacific is 1:28 p.m. and 10:28 a.m. So thank you for joining us. My name is Muriel Baker.
And my name's James Rattray. It's great to be with you here on another very crisp early morning in New Zealand. We are ready to get the Hawk out of here with the latest launch from LC1. Now, if you've been following along with Electron's exploits lately, you'll have noticed that today's mission is a little bit of a switcheroo from our launch lineup. We've brought this launch ahead of our previous one that's been rescheduled to allow for additional checkouts. Smooth progress is being made, though, to have it back on the pad and ready to launch in no time. But while that's happening, with the rocket for Hawkeye ready to go and our launch team ready to fly, we're good to go with this launch from Pad A at Launch Complex 1. That right there is responsive flexibility for our mission partners in action.
For this morning's launch, Electron is headed to a 520-kilometre circular low Earth orbit with 4 satellites in total. A trio of microsats that will collect and geolocate radio frequency signals from around the world, and a 4th satellite called Kestrel OA, an experimental satellite to test emerging capabilities and future technology enhancements. Now, the 3 microsats together are part of Cluster 12 for Hawkeye and will operate in a dawn to dusk polar orbit to fill a coverage gap in their existing constellation. Today's launch is also the second in a 3-launch contract on Electron for Hawkeye. We first launched for them back in 2023 on our very first launch from RocketLab Launch Complex 2 in Virginia, which is where Hawkeye 360 is based, actually, making them the perfect partner for our first launch out of there. Here's more about their mission.
In today's battle space,
we are super excited to have Hawkeye 360's satellites back on Electron over here in New Zealand this time around. We've got another 14 minutes and 45 seconds until liftoff, so while we wait, let's throw it back to 2023 when we launched our first mission for Hawkeye 360, which was also our first ever launch from Launch Complex 2 in Wallops Island, Virginia, like Muriel mentioned before. Now, that mission was called Virginia is for Launch Lovers, a nod to the US state that both LC2 and Hawkeye 360 call home. So let's take a little bit of a look back. I can't believe it's been 2 years already since we opened LC2, and 30-something missions later, here we are again with Hawkeye on the launch pad with Electron.
And speaking of, we are about 13 minutes away to liftoff now, which means we are coming up to our go, no-go poll for today's launch. Now, our operators in mission and range control will be polled by the launch director directly for whether they are go to proceed with the countdown to liftoff or if there are any watch items for the rest of the count.
Now, stations are polled across range and launch safety, weather expectations at liftoff, if there's any probability of launch constraints, And of course, multiple engineers monitoring Electron's systems across avionics, propulsion, software, and more. Let's go ahead and tune into Mission Control now to hear the status of today's launch, led by Launch Director Taylor Moore.
We are proceeding with the go, no-go sequence, beginning with stage.
Stage is go.
Avionics.
Avionics is go.
GNC.
GNC is go.
VCon.
VCon is go.
T1.
T1 is go.
GC.
GC is go.
PLS.
PLS is go.
RSO.
RSO is go.
MET.
MET is go.
MM.
MM is go.
And LD sub.
LD sub is go.
Copy. The go, no-go sequence is complete. We are T minus 11 minutes, 18 seconds and counting. We are go for the terminal auto sequence at T minus 10 minutes. From this time, the 3-word procedure is in effect.
There you have it. We are a go for today's Electron launch, and the countdown continues. We are on track for an on-time liftoff at 5:28 a.m. local time, still well before sunrise here in New Zealand. And we've got 2 T0 opportunities today, so if there's a delay for any reason in the remaining minutes to launch, then we've got a second chance to try again later in the launch window. So far, though, no watch items for the rocket, payload or range clearance, so we are tracking nicely to schedule for an on-time liftoff. So while we are busy launching back-to-back missions with Electron, our team at headquarters in California and across multiple states are also hard at work building spacecraft and space systems products for a range of missions, a whole other part of Rocket Lab's business that isn't just building and launching rockets. And so that includes spacecraft, satellites, star trackers, radios, solar power systems, flight software, and many more of the critical components needed for missions to space.
That's right. Now, our spacecraft have supported some really exciting missions so far, like NASA's capstone mission to the moon and another upcoming mission for NASA called Escapade, this time bound for Mars with 2 of our spacecraft. Here's more about what building spacecraft at scale means to Rocket Lab and what our team is working on right now.
Very cool. And as you saw, lots of spacecraft and hardware with RocketLab logos on them. Even the satellites on today's mission will be deployed from a motorized light band separation system built by RocketLab, which is a mechanism designed to safely and reliably detach the satellite from the rocket in space. Now, we are at T-minus 4 minutes, 43 seconds and counting on the clock, which means we are heading into the final moments before liftoff to get the Hawk out of here. Here's how those final few minutes are expected to play out. So first up, at T-minus 2 minutes, you'll hear the call that Electron is on internal power. And this means Electron is now running on its own power supply. More importantly, though, it also signals that Electron's flight computer has taken over the reins for the final pre-launch sequence.
Now, after that, we'll hear a call for AFTS, which stands for Automated Flight Termination System. And this confirms that Electron's onboard safety systems are fully active and its telemetry systems are verified to be transmitting data back to mission control. After that, expect to hear confirmation that Electron's liquid oxygen propellant, or LOX, has been loaded and that it's circulating within the vehicle. And then after that, a call should come that Electron's tanks are pressed for flight, and this means that the propellant tanks are fully pressurized, locked and loaded, and ready to unleash the power of Electron's Rutherford engines.
What follows should be a call that high-flow engine purge is enabled, which will mean that the Rutherford engines are primed and ready to ignite. And then last but not least, our launch director will remind operators of their position in the countdown, usually at around 20 seconds to launch, right before taking us down through the final 10-second countdown to liftoff. So let's bring up the audio channels from Mission Control now so you can hear that experience from Mission Control in real time, and we'll be back with you after liftoff.
To all operators, from now on, there should be no red flags in your critical LCCs. Beacon LD on mission card.
LD Vicon.
Please lock the auto sequence and confirm.
Locked.
And please confirm all flight computer ASGOs are green.
All ASGOs are green.
Copy. We are go for auto sequence start at T-minus 2 minutes, and LD is go for launch.
The vehicle is fully on internal power. AFTS is green and enabled for flight.
LOX load is complete. System is in recirculation. Anti-geysering is disabled.
Stage 1 and 2 tanks are pressed for flight.
High flow engine purge enabled.
T-minus 20 seconds and counting. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
Beginning pitch over.
Stage 1 propulsion nominal.
And the Hawk is out of here for Electron's 67th launch. What a spectacular liftoff for Electron. And that fiery plume lets us know that we are climbing fast and soon we'll be reaching maximum aerodynamic pressure, also known as max Q, as Electron punches through the atmosphere. Our launch ops team and mission control will be calling out that critical moment shortly, so let's listen in.
Electron is supersonic, approaching max Q. Cleared max Q.
There we go. Confirmation from Mission Control that we have cleared max Q. Right now, Electron is moving at over 2,000 kilometres an hour and past an altitude of 20 kilometres. And our next launch milestone will be MECO, or main engine cutoff, in just under a minute and a half. What that involves is 3 critical actions across Electron's first and second stage. First, the 9 Rutherford engines on the first stage will shut down as scheduled. Next, the first stage will disengage and separate from the second stage. And then thirdly, the single Rutherford engine on the second stage will ignite to propel the mission on its way to orbit. So let's listen back into Mission Control to hear those 3 crucial calls.
Go in roughly 30 seconds.
"15 seconds to staging."
Enter burnout detect mode.
MECO confirmed.
Stage separation confirmed.
Stage 2 ignition confirmed.
And there you have it from Mission Control. We've confirmed a successful main engine cutoff. We love to hear that. Now, next up, we'll be seeing the fairing jettison, where Electron's fairing halves actually split apart and fall away. So keep your eyes peeled on your screen for that one coming up soon.
Jettison confirmed.
And you just heard it there from Mission Control, a lovely fairing jettison. You can see Hawkeye 360 is well and truly on its way to orbit, now travelling at 8,500 kilometres an hour, just passing 125 kilometres in altitude. What a ride for these 4 satellites.
HVB discharge holding nominal.
Guidance is looking nominal so far into the mission, which you can track in real time with the trajectory plot that will show up on the right-hand side of your screen soon. Otherwise, the total burn time for this second stage engine is around 6.5 minutes to take us all the way to a nominal transfer orbit. Now, the Stage 2 Rutherford engine is practically identical to the Stage 1 engines on the booster, apart from an expanded nozzle that helps to maximise the thrust from Rutherford and improve its overall performance. And we are now at T plus 4 minutes, 32 seconds into the mission, with expected engine cutoff at around T plus 9 minutes.
Alrighty, next up in Electron's series of manoeuvres is the battery hot swap, a move that's unique to Electron, given that its second stage Rutherford engine is actually powered by batteries. Now, since the engine burn lasts longer than a single battery pack can drive the pumps, the propulsion system will switch over to a fresh battery pack in order to keep the engines running smoothly. This happens super fast and can be pretty easy to miss, so keep your eyes peeled for the silver object on the right-hand side of your screen being ejected from Electron shortly.
Guidance is nominal, 200 seconds remaining.
HVB discharge holding nominal, approaching hot swap in roughly 30 seconds.
Throttling down.
Battery jettison confirmed.
An excellent battery hot swap that we saw there, and we heard from Mission Control as well. So we are now at T plus 6 minutes 40 seconds into the mission, with Electron boosting along at more than 15,000 kilometers an hour.
T plus 7 minutes into this mission, you can have a look on the right-hand side of your screen. Our propellant levels are consistent at 29% remaining for kerosene and liquid oxygen. Our kerosene temperature sitting at a balmy 12 degrees compared to our liquid oxygen temperature of negative 177 degrees Celsius. And it's that cold temperature that causes the ice on the outside of Electron when it's on the pad and gives it its distinct black and white stripes. All right, we're now nearing the end of the second stage's journey with SECO, or second engine cutoff, right around the corner. So soon, that single Rutherford engine powering Electron will shut down and the kick stage will seamlessly separate, carrying Hawkeye 360's satellites where they belong on orbit. So let's chuck it back to Mission Control for that critical call now.
Guidance is in terminal, 25 seconds remaining.
SECO confirmed.
Stage separation confirmed.
And there you have it. Mission Control has confirmed SECO, and the kick stage with its Hawkeye payload is now in its initial coast phase around Earth. And it will be another 40 minutes or so before the Curie engine on the kick stage ignites to make its final and precise adjustments to place Hawkeye satellites to a 520-kilometer circular orbit.
Today we've got two deployments. The first deploying the three Hawk 12 satellites, and then 45 seconds later deploying the Kestrel satellite. So we'll be back with you shortly after a while the kick stage completes that leg of the journey. So join us back for payload deployment in about 40 minutes or so. We'll see you back here soon.
launch window for that mission very soon, so keep an eye out on our social media channels and website for all of the details. Otherwise, thanks for tuning in and watching today's launch with us. Until next time, this is Mission Control signing off.